Abana Women. Hi, how are you? I hope you were good. I hope you are having an awesome day. And yeah, you're off to a very good week for you, for your family, for your business, and for everyone around you, your loved ones. Okay. Yeah, do join in, do say hi. Even if it's your first time joining me in my live session, you are so welcome. I'm so happy to have you here. If you've been with me and you always know what time it is, Tuesday 4 p.m. Thank you for being here. You are so welcome. It is such a pleasure to have you on this great afternoon. I'm so in love with what we're going to talk about today. I feel so connected to this topic of generational gifts. We are talking generational gifts as another layer of generational wealth, that a theme that we've been exploring for the past 2 weeks. And yes, this is the third part of the series where we are going to be talking about generational gifts. The gifts that are within us, that come naturally for us, that are within our DNA, the gifts that we have inherited from our bloodline, from our lineages, and the gifts that are actually coded to make it easier for us to create wealth and access our generational wealth, so that we can be able to pass this on to the next lineage. So I really deeply connect to this topic. I hope you're excited as well. I hope you're going to be having your aha moments and really just have fun with me, right? Okay, so this is what I've realized. It is so easy, and yeah, it took me a while for me to also notice this. So it's okay if you have not arrived here as well. It is so easy for us to, whenever we think of our bloodlines, especially us Black descendants, African descendants, it is so easy for us to think or to quickly remember our bloodlines in the form of pain. It is easier for us to talk about the traumas that exist, to talk about the negative bloodline patterns, family patterns that have affected our ability to create money and wealth for ourselves. Whenever we come into these discussions about generations that came before us, yes, because of the pain and the trauma that they've been through, most of the time we are quickly drawn to have conversations around that, around the trauma, to have conversations around the limited beliefs, the collective limited beliefs that were created, that we're still experiencing now, and that are still affecting us now, and how we get to actually experience money and business and wealth in our lives. And although that is a sacred thing to do for your lineage, to witness that pain, to come into a place of mercy, and to really recognize some of the wounds that exist. Today I want us to take a different perspective and shift a bit and look into the beauty that comes with you being born in your lineage as a spiritual woman. Look into the gifts that you are able to tap into just because you were born into that lineage. We did not just inherit the pain and the trauma and the belief systems that most of the time we feel like are working against us because they were limited, they were wounded. We inherited the gifts as well. And often you'll realize that when you tap into these gifts, when you tap into the gifts that come naturally for you, that's when you are most likely to expand. You are most likely to tap into the wealth that you could have never comprehended. So yeah, I really do celebrate us having this conversation today, because I'm like, let's look at our lineages today, but mostly let's look at them in light. We've been looking at the shadows, we've been studying the shadows, but today I want you to come into this conversation and ask yourself, what are some of the positive, beautiful things? What are some of the zone of genius energy, or the zone of genius frequency that I can tap into, that I realize that I've tapped into, that have been existing in my family? And today I would like to invite these gifts to activate them so that they can begin to work for me and begin to expand me, so that I can truly create the wealth that I desire, and this wealth that can also be passed on to the next generation, right? So when we speak of generational gifts, basically, we are talking about spiritually, we are talking about the blueprint of wealth that has been existing in your lineage. It may be activated or it may not be activated, right? So we are talking about the things that have come naturally for your lineage, right? Things that have come so easy for your lineage, that even today your family members, they get to do them, and it's so easy for them to tap into that. These are the gifts that carry the blueprint of the wealth that we are meant to create, wealth that you are not meant to struggle for. Because I would like to remind you today, as we get into this conversation, the way we were designed, the way we were created, our souls were never meant to come and earn our way into being, abundant and being blessed and being wealthy. God did not create any human being and say, for you, you'll have to earn, you'll have to struggle. God created you with everything that you already have, with you being enough to have the things that you want. So the idea that, some things are for other people and not for you is a limited belief. It is actually separating you from yourself. It is a form of self-rejection if you cannot come to a place to realize that I'm actually gifted in this and this and this and this. It's easy. I've heard a lot of times people say, I don't know what I'm gifted in. I'm not sure I'm gifted. Or not being able to truly own that you are gifted. The reason why that is because most of us think that just because you are gifted, it means that you will be perfect day one in that gift. But that's not how it works. That's not how it works. Your gifts are meant to be acknowledged. And once you acknowledge them and you recognize them, right, you begin to groom them. And you can always tap into the wisdom that already exists in your lineage for that gift to expand, for that gift to become even more fine-tuned, right? But the first step is to recognize and be bold about the fact that you are a gifted woman, okay? So as I'm saying this, I want you to think about you right now. Think about what you are really ready to own as something that you know that I'm gifted in this. This comes easy for me, right? People struggle with this, but I don't struggle with it. Once you're able to recognize them, then we can talk about how then can I use this to either contribute to my spiritual business or use this to monetize it and make my wealth through it, right? If you look at it, for a lot of us, why we tend to have separated from owning our gifts or recognizing that we're gifted is because of the programming that education brought to us. It is easier for someone else to come and teach you things and then tell you that this is what you know, this is what you're good at, and validate you with a certificate, right? Like certify you and say, yes, because I've given you this certificate, it means that you are good at this. And I see with a lot of spiritual women, we tend to have this education wound, because it's either because at some point in time you realize that, oh, I struggle in a certain subject, or I tend to struggle, or I'm not as smart as other kids using the school system. Because of that wounding that was created from the programming of being schooled, of being educated, of being told what you are good at, we then struggle to come into a place of qualifying ourselves, of validating ourselves and saying that I am good at this. Just because when it comes to your gifts, you may not have the certificate to show that I'm good at this. It starts with you knowing that you are good at it. It starts with you being bold enough, leaning into that boldness of saying that this is who I am, this is what I'm good at, right? And yes, you can further progress by going to, expand yourself, or going for further training in what you're already gifted in. That's amazing. But today I want to talk to the aspect of you that probably has been refusing or neglecting owning up to the fact that you yourself, already as you are gifted. I say this because you need to realize that you have everything that you require to be wealthy, to make money. And a great weakness for a lot of spiritual women is that it's going to take something else outside me. What I have is not good enough. What I know is not good enough. It's going to take something more than what I'm seeing, what I have within, to create the wealth that I have. And that, I can tell you, is injustice to yourself. Recognize this as the wounding of the education system. It left you feeling like if no one else is validating that you are gifted, then you're probably not. If no one is certifying that you're gifted, then you're probably not. That's not true. So I'm going to pause and we're going to go within, and I'm going to invite you right now to think about what are some of the gifts that I'm aware exist in my lineage, exist within me, things that I know that I'm good at. It doesn't matter what it is, that I'm really ready to own. It doesn't matter whether I'm certified in it or not. It doesn't matter if someone has validated me or not. But I know I am good at this. It is who I am, right? Think about that and let me know what comes up for you. And then we'll go into another layer that we need to look at. Sometimes you may be a teacher, something that comes naturally for you. I was talking to a friend of mine, they were like, I didn't know this about me. I was telling them that, you are a peacemaker. And the reason why I said that was because I said, you have the ability to, whenever people are having conflict, you have the ability to just be able to see both sides and still be objective. That is a gift. And they were like, that is so me. I didn't know that was true about me, right? For some of us, you are good at organizing things. It's in your lineage. You just are good at organizing things. It's something that you learn from your parents, or it's something that you learn from your grandparents or your great grandparents, right? For me, one thing that I have struggled to tap into, but I realized later that, oh my God, I didn't own this, but this is such a gift that I have. I was raised by a woman who literally, whenever she steps into a place, everyone smiles, because she is going to make people laugh. She's going to make people laugh, and everyone is just always happy to have her in that space. Whenever she meets people, they easily recognize her and they laugh. She can never go into a shop and not laugh with someone, even a stranger. And I tend to laugh a lot as well. But before, I wouldn't have not seen this as a gift, that I laugh a lot. I laugh a lot. It is medicine that exists in my lineage. And honestly, it was through working with my healer that I realized that this was a gift, because I remember at some point in time I was telling her that, in our family, we barely get sick. Like, we have the gift of divine health. And she said, this connects so much to why you always talk about how your mom laughs a lot and you laugh a lot. You can imagine laughter is medicine on its own. So people in my lineage, actually, especially in my mother's lineage, barely get sick. Like, when we get sick, actually, we freak out, because it could mean this is their goodbye. They are transitioning. Most of the time, they will only get sick when they age. It's a gift. It's a divine health gift. It exists in my family. So how am I tapping into this gift? Whenever I feel sick or I don't feel well, instead of panicking, I literally always remind myself that I have divine health. This exists in my family, and therefore I can always tap into this gift at any time. So when I get sick, I easily, quickly recover. Like, if I feel unwell, I easily and quickly recover, because this is a gift that has existed in my lineage for the longest time. So I don't neglect that anymore. That, in my family, we just tend to not get sick. It is a gift. I recognize it. And the more I tap into that, the more I recognize that, the more the fruits of being in this lineage and having divine health becomes something that is so true for me, right? So what I'm saying is, when you look into the gifts of your family, the more you acknowledge them, the more you tap into them, the more they'll become true for you. Some of you are having your own issues around money, but people in your lineages actually have had money. I'm not saying they didn't have their struggles or their challenges, but they were able to create money or wealth for themselves. And you are here not recognizing this as a gift, that if people in my lineage can make money, it means that I can make money too. It is a gift, right? It is a gift. So I began to shift, really, when I also realized that I did not just inherit trauma. I did not just inherit wounds and limited beliefs. Yes, they need to heal. But I also really inherited beautiful gifts that I can apply them into my business. My parent being able to laugh with people and interact with people, it is a form of magnetism. And this means that the more I heal myself, the more I heal my own core wounds of not feeling good enough, of not feeling worthy, the more I will be able to easily magnetize, the souls that are aligned with me, that are aligned with my business, whether it's in partnership, whether it's their clientele, whether it's in for greater opportunities, right? So yes, today may not be easy to see where the gifts fit in, and this is something that I help women with in my program of Sacred Abundance, where you look at your gifts, what comes natural for you, what you're passionate about, your skills, right? And then see how you can monetize them so that you can create wealth in the way that comes so easy for you. It doesn't mean you don't put in the work, but it just means that you are off to a good start because you are already attuned to that, right? That is the beauty in seeing your gifts, right? So it can be magnetism, it can be someone who, like, in your family, you guys are just good with organizing. In your family, you guys are just the type of people who have amazing relationships with people, right? Or you even have a gift of discernment where for you, you always have to just go within and know what is true and what is not. That is a beautiful gift to have, you know, because you will use it to maneuver on the things, on the opportunities that are good for your business and that are not, easily. Some of the gifts that exist for me and my family are the gift of dreams and dream interpretation. From the age of 3, 4, 5, 6, I know my mom used to talk about, this is what I dreamed. What did you guys dream about? Every morning, I grew up in a house where every morning we were asked, what did you dream about? I didn't know this was a gift until I started doing healing work, and I started realizing that I received messages from the Holy Spirit, from my elevated guides, through my dreams. I was always carrying the gift. But it was when I recognized it, it was when I was ready to boldly own it, that it started working in my favor, right? So I challenge you today to look at what exists in your family already, to look at the blueprints of wealth, because those are blueprints of the wealth that exists in the family, that are easy to ignore or neglect. But if you look into them and invite yourself to really come into a place where you can recognize them and then see how you can apply them. You may even inbox me and let me know what are some of the gifts that you realize, and then we can see, then how can you use this to elevate your business? How can you use this to now create wealth for yourself, or to supplement your income for yourself? There is nothing like a gift that is not useful. Nothing. Guys, come on. Name one person who is wealthy, who's a millionaire, any celebrity. Name one who you can point out and say, no, but this one, no, Frank, this one is not gifted. Name one. Everyone who managed to create wealth in this lifetime and in many lifetimes, everyone who managed to create wealth, generational wealth, every one of them was gifted. Even today, when we see celebrities, when we listen to their interviews, I listen to a lot of interviews, like a lot of them, because I like knowing how people got there, because it's like watching the future me. It's a form of practice. I'm literally tapping into that. So I listen to a lot of interviews. And whenever I listen to this, I can tell you something. All of them tapped into their gifts. None of them was trained first and then they realized they're gifted. No, they tapped into something that was already within them, and then they fine-tuned it through trainings, through grooming, right? And then they got to create that wealth. Your gifts are clues that have been given throughout your life. You just need to own them. There is no one who's rich today who's not gifted. Even when we watch these celebrities, these people who are well-known and wealthy, a lot of times we say, wow, yeah, she's so gifted. He's so gifted, right? Our gifts are the keys to our gifts are the key to our wealth. Generational gifts are basically the wealth blueprint that exists for your lineage. It is more of a wealth template, a pre-existing file, a pre-existing energy that you tap into, and then you get to enjoy the fruits of it. But it starts with you recognizing it and with you being bold about it. Right? You want to know how to create wealth for yourself, for your family? Look into what you're truly gifted in. Look into what your lineage has been gifted in. It will come easier for you. You want to know how to expand your business, or what to apply into your business? Even as a spiritual woman, listen, spirituality is not a limitation. You are not limited by the fact that, oh, I'm a spiritual person, right? It is an enhancement. It enhances who you are, right? So this look like, if you know you have a gift of making people laugh and you're a comedian, you can still be an amazing spiritual woman, an amazing spiritual teacher, and still be able to teach people through even comedy, right? So the reason why we're having this conversation today, I'm inviting you to start recognizing the gifts that you have and see how you can enhance your path, your business, your wealth through those gifts. How you can support it, or how you can tap into them and actually create the wealth that you require. I am teaching myself to, not really teaching myself, but I have begun to recognize the magnetism, and therefore I tap into that. When women invite me to the platforms, I go there knowing that there was something about me that magnetized them, that called them forth, like pulled me towards them, and that pulled them towards me, right? And I can tell you, a lot of times I get to experience the most beautiful side of these women. Like I get to have an amazing time, and it's not just because of them. It's because I recognize that I have this gift of, whenever I interact with women, I can just make them laugh and we can be happy. You know, some of my friends say I just have inner peace because you never make me feel off about something. Like, even if I thought something was an issue, when I talk to you, I just feel like, I can even turn it to a joke. You know, if you are telling me about a narcissistic guy or a heartbreak, I will move you through that until you realize that you carry the power. Okay, it is just who I am. So in recognizing that, I tend to use it, right? Okay, so I want us to move into another layer. This one might be a little triggering or very uncomfortable to talk about. This is when your gift or the generational gifts that exist in your lineage and that you carry as well are coming in the form of a shadow, right? They're coming as the opposite of, or showing up as the opposite of what the gift is, right? So I've been talking about the gift that comes easy, naturally, that comes through the light. It is so easy to pick this one. This is a gift that is so easy to tap into because it is so obvious and it feels positive. However, some of the gifts that exist in our lineages show up as the thing that frustrates you the most, show up as the things that breaks your heart the most, show up as the things that hurt you the most. They are very uncomfortable to face, and the medicine is that when you heal these frustrations, these pains, that's when the gift will actually come to light, when you heal the shadow. So the shadow is basically when you see something in light, there's always the shadow that comes with it. Like even you, if you were to walk into the sunlight, your shadow follows you, right? So some gifts, how they show up in our lineages, we don't immediately see the light. We are moved by the shadow. We are triggered by the shadow. So the gifts come in the form of huge triggers, painful things. They look like what religion would call a curse. You know, it looks like this is such a curse. This is a curse, this is a bloodline curse. No one in this family gets married. in this family has money. And the people of this family are struggling with this, all of them. And when that happens, we easily dismiss that and we just think this is bad. But if you're watching this, and the reason why you're watching this is because you need to hear this. You are here to realize that all this triggers what feels negative, you carry the medicine. And in carrying the medicine and in healing yourself, the medicine comes through healing yourself. Then this pain will be turned into the gift. Usually, this is how a lot of us experience our awakening, or we come into our spiritual businesses. It doesn't matter whether you're a coach, whether you're a healer. For most of us, our gifts did not come through things that were positive or were in the light. Yes, we can use those always to expand ourselves, to enhance ourselves. But actually, for most of us to realize that, oh, this is the path that I want to do, this is how I actually want to serve our mission, it came through the shadow. The shadow that was existing in the lineage. And when we healed that, we realized that actually it was always a gift. It was always a gift. I can tell you this. I am not a soul and money alchemist because I'm rich or I come from a very rich family. I don't call women abundant ones because I've always known abundance. I've actually experienced the opposite of that. I watched my family have its own fair share of struggles around money, always being in deficit, always having something to pay, sometimes being told we don't have this, we don't have that. Me learning to deprive myself of things that I truly want. Me learning to deny myself things that I truly want because I've always been told that there's no money, and that's the training I got. It wasn't training though. It was an initiation, right? So, me having gone through that, I then got to have to really be triggered by why is this a thing? Like, it was the most painful thing to witness. But it also became the thing that got me to realize that this is exactly what I want to help women with, because I have lived through it and I know the pain of it. This is what I want women to be empowered with, right? And so because of that life, I tend to have deeper revelations, when it comes to money. I'm able to hold space for someone who thinks, oh, I'm experiencing money this way, this is like the worst, and I'm able to move them through the pain or to help them process their emotions because I witnessed that firsthand, even though at times I didn't know what was happening. For you as well, you know the things that have looked like a struggle. Some people who are right now having the course to heal relationships, relationship coach, love coaches, teachers who are good at teaching about love, abundance. These are people who actually had the worst relationships, right? It looked like no one in my lineage ever got married. Everyone in my lineage is divorcing. And we are told, whoa, this is horrible, this is a curse. But we are not seeing that the gift, you as a soul being born into that family, the gift of it was to for one day to be triggered by this and wonder, why is it that people divorce? Sometimes it may come up with that, like, why are people divorcing? Why are people in my family not experiencing true love? But I know deep down true love exists. And in you being triggered by that, you go find the answers, or you begin to study more. Like, I need to study this deeply. why are people doing this? I began to study money because I was like, I am tired of always being limited on how much I have. Right? You begin to study it so much. Some people in your lineages, you were told that you are bewitched. You are bewitched. All of you and in that family, a prophet was born. The family was never really bewitched. The family was experiencing the shadow of the gift that was always existing in the lineage. And for you to awaken and realize that I'm a spiritual teacher, I'm a prophet, I'm an oracle, it was because at some point in time, this became very uncomfortable to witness for you. You were like, why is this happening? And then you began to see the shadow and brought your own light, right? When you heal, you bring out the light, and the light will always dilute the shadow. So as we're talking about gifts, please know that some of the gifts, yes, will be so easy to see. They'll come in the form of light. They'll be positive. But some of your gifts are literally hidden within the shadows. They are still gifts. You just need to be bold enough to recognize that. You need to heal in order to realize the beauty in the gift. We access our gifts. We access the gifts that are meant to create generational wealth and wealth for ourselves through healing ourselves. When we heal, we go back and close the wounds, the not good enoughness, the not feeling worthy. When I began healing, one of the emotions that I had to heal a lot in myself was anxiety, having anxiety around money. And just anxiety generally. I was having anxiety in everything. I deeply had to heal. And I would say that there are still times when I recognize it in certain parts and I go back and heal it. Right? And when I began to heal this anxiety and I begin to go deeper in my journey, why do I carry so much anxiety? I got the revelation that actually this anxiety has been existing in my family, and this is why finances were a struggle. It wasn't because my parents were not earning enough money like to have the life that they would have wanted to live. It wasn't because there was not money. Struggles around money are not so much about the amount of money, right? They are more about how we are experiencing this money, not so much of the amount of money, the income that is coming in. That is never the issue. So I then realized that, oh my God, this whole time, the struggles were created by this anxiety. When money comes in, shots, like a lot of thoughts were fired, and it was difficult to process what to do and prioritize, and therefore it always felt like there's a struggle, right? So even for you, I really invite you to look at it this way. You are here to access your lineage gifts. You are here to access your bloodline gifts. But some of them are going to require that you heal. And when you heal, you access them and you tap into them and create wealth from them. You're not here for someone to come validate you that this is a gift you have. You really need to own it and believe that this is who I am, this is what I'm good at. Right? It is part of your mission to remove the rusty layer of what looks like pain, what looks like a trigger, what looks like discomfort. Heal that, remove that, and let the light come through. The light of the gifts, and create wealth through the gifts. There is no one I know today who is rich who is not gifted. People who manage to create wealth for themselves are people who got to own that they were gifted, who got to recognize that, oh, I have a gift in this, and began to fine-tune that gift and see how it can work in their favor. And I'll tell you this though. There wasn't so much of a formula that I'll do this 1, 2, 3 with this gift and then. No. It was when they kept tapping within this gift and truly allowing it to come through. And how you allow your gift to come through, it is through consistency. Even when you don't know where you're going, but you're like, I'm going to be consistent. You choose to be consistent. You choose to practice. You choose to invest in this. through you taking those steps that are investing in you, of consistency, of practicing, your gift will just cause a ripple effect. And then one day, somehow, it will just happen for you. You will just have the wealth that you want. You will just have the money that you want, the opportunities that you've been looking for. The truth is, we are just not patient with our gifts. We are patient for people to train us in things that we have to learn in order to be good at. We are patient for people to validate us and like train us and validate us and certify us. We are so patient with that. Like, you don't mind going 4 years. You don't mind working 10 years. Yet you cannot use the same energy and be patient with your gift and say, I'm going to allow this gift to come through the way it wants to. Because I trust that this is how I will create wealth. You need to not negotiate your gift. Like, let it come forth and say, this is my gift. I own it. And I trust that I co-create with God, a true living God. And as I tap into my gift, it will magnetize everything that I'm meant to have, the wealth that I'm meant to have. Because I carried everything. I carry everything that I need to be wealthy. God created me in full, like, solid, with all the enoughness. If I feel not good enough, if I feel I don't qualify, I recognize that that is a wound, and probably that is what needs healing. That is part of the generational trauma that exists. That is a limiting belief. And I heal that to return to the self, because the self was created in full form. Like, God did not even need to edit anything. You are correct the way you are. And the more I trust that, and the more I lean into these gifts that are coming forth through me, the more I will magnetize the wealth. Because it is true. It is really true. You have everything you need to be wealthy. It is not outside you. So even if you come to see me and work with me, all I'm doing is holding space for you to return to yourself. I'm not doing anything extraordinary. I'm holding space for you to heal your traumas, to heal your soul trauma, and to return to the self, and to really own what you're already gifted in. That's what I'm holding space for you for. And the magic will happen naturally, you know? The magic will just come. The wealth will just come. So there's so much beauty in owning who you are. There's so much beauty in recognizing what you're already good at and validating yourself that this is what I'm good at and I am going to see it through. Be patient with your gifts. Be consistent. Practice. Allow them to be groomed. Keep asking for the wisdom to move through this gift. And truly trust that this is what you already need to create the wealth. Like, you already have it. You don't need anything extra. You already have it. Everything else you are doing is just to enhance, but you already have it. Right? That's my message for you today. Right. So, yes. If you feel like, Nunufang, after having this conversation, I still don't know what I'm good at. I still don't see how my shadows could be gifts. Inbox me, we can talk. Or also sometimes I've realized that astrology also is really helpful when it comes to helping you, guiding you to like see your soul gifts. Like, these are soul gifts. This is what naturally is inside you, right? And if your soul gifts are coming in the form of shadows, it's because your soul is just asking you to heal so that you can access that. So you are just unlocking your gifts through healing. But they already exist, and therefore, if they already exist, you already have everything you need to make money and be wealthy, right? So I hope that lands for you. Go sit with this. What are you ready to own? What are you today ready to own as your gift? I really, really, really own that I'm gifted when it comes to having revelations around money. I know how to really see the deeper issues of money. I'm gifted with knowledge and wisdom, and this is because also I was raised in a house that I always constantly saw my father read. So I'm ready to own this. I'm ready to own that I am a healer. And when people come into my field, they tend to feel good about themselves. You know, I help people find that inner peace. Like I don't allow people to drown in their sorrows and not see that gift. Like I'm ready to own that. Go sit down with yourself and say, what am I really ready to own? And be bold about that. And once you're ready to do that, we can then have a conversation around, Nunufang, how do I make money from this? How do I make money from the fact that I know I can talk all day? You know, how do I make money from the fact that I know I love writing stuff? I'm a good writer. I have not developed it yet, but I know I'm a good writer. You know? So, yeah. Babes, no one is coming to validate you, but today I need you to validate yourself and to certify yourself. And then train yourself. Or look for other people who are able to take you to the next level. But it starts with you. It is your gift. You are gifted. You are love. You are created by God. And therefore you are perfect. Even with what feels imperfect. Alright. I think, yes, I've said enough for today. I'll see you again next week. Next week we're going to talk about healing, right? Healing as a pathway of unlocking our gifts and creating the wealth that we desire. So I look forward to that as well. See you soon. If you're going to watch later, #replay, let me know what came up for you. I love to hear your feedback and your revelations, right? Bye.